I exposed anti-ICE protesters.
I think borders are pointless and borders should be erased.
You caught me off guard with that one.
I went to an anti-ICE protest today in New York City, and I saw signs like "You're Next" and "F ICE." I walked up to those people.
It's just insane to me that this is happening right there. And I watch like Squidward from his window. Not actually, but in spirit.
And talk to them to see what they really want. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. Also, I'm getting this video to you guys as soon as possible. I didn't even set up my recording space, so the video is going to feel a little bit more raw than usual. Anyway, enjoy.
I'm independent. Yeah. Can I ask you guys about...
It's the gayest question ever. Who are you with? Fox News, actually. Fox News Phil, nice to meet you. CNN, maybe you heard of it? No? Well, guess what? I'm lying to you. As if that matters. Either engage with the questions or be known as perpetually soy.
Your sign, can you just tell me about it?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
What about it?
Anything, just why you, what's the message in it? Yeah.
Basically, the message is fuck ICE because they're fucking abhorrent and are literally destroying families and people's lives. And then also...
If she says fascism, I will cut my dick off.
Stop the U.S. war machine, which is more just about just all the imperialism, all the countries that we've, wreaked havoc upon, which is, part of the problem too is people are like, oh, why do people come here? It's because the U.S. has put their hand in so many countries and dismantled their governments and caused instability, and then we are treating them like this.
My manhood is on the line right here. All 2 inches of it.
And they try to find safety or new opportunities.
Yeah. Do you think that we should get...
Still wears the COVID mask? Crazy. Yeah, is there a pandemic I don't know about? What's in my arm, Fauci? Please let me know! I think it doubles as a tribal signifier, you're safe around me. Because of the pandemic, as well as a face mask or covering for attending these protests. It's the double-edged sword of soy.
Get rid of ICE?
Oh, it's the poverty in the air.
Organization?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would replace it with, or do you think that there's no need for it?
No need. I think borders are pointless and borders should be erased.
Yeah, how's that working out for Europe? Borders are pointless. Tell that to every single country and empire ever.
That's not how we're meant to be in this world.
Do you see that for across the world and not just the U.S.?
I do, but
yeah.
Also, I think every people's, and that goes back to a whole other problem too. We're on stolen land right now, so all of
stolen land. Who owns it? Second of all, it's not stolen, it was conquered! God! Nobody puts respect on the GOAT, George Washington, crossing the fucking Delaware, leading the charge like a philosopher king should, risking it for the biscuit, creating the best country the world has ever seen. God, I need a pet bald eagle, now.
we're on stolen land right now. So all of the, stewardship and control of the land should go back to the indigenous people of that land.
Oh, and who's that? Is it the Native Americans who got here through the Bering Strait? Is it the Mexicans who took it from the natives?
And they should be the ones who are deciding who comes, who goes, what needs to be done.
And what do you think about what's happening in LA right now?
I think when people are pushed and pushed past the point of what's okay, they're going to fight back. And I think that's the same thing that's happening in Palestine right now.
In the West, the Mormons were up to no good. Take it up with Brigham Young. Bro literally started a revolt against the U.S. government. Tried to establish the state of Deseret.
Too, I mean, it's very different, but in Palestine, there's, there's
You wouldn't be allowed in Palestine.
people who are fighting back and fighting back against their oppression. And I think that we're seeing the beginnings of that too. We're seeing, people being disappeared and kidnapped, and you see people in the community fighting back for those people.
Do you want to see what's happening in LA to happen in New York City as well?
It's not that I want to see that. I actually don't believe in necessarily violence. I really pray for no violence.
Yeah.
Utah fucks? No, Utah soaks.
But what I do think is and I also have a different definition of what violence is. I don't think property destruction is violence.
Right, because everyone has insurance. I mean, think of all that chaos and anger manifesting into something else. I mean, who cares about the property damage?
I think it's a statement, especially when people are being killed.
Dude, I'm being radicalized in real time. What changed, Philion? Are you watching the same video I am? Holy buckets!
and kidnapped and starved and pulled away from their families and put in fucking horrible places to be held for long periods of time.
What is she talking about? Is she talking about deportations?
Starved and pulled away from their families. And
hey, Jamie, can you pull up Obama deportation statistics in comparison to Biden and Trump? Huh. Okay. You know what? No. I'm going to give you all some homework. Couple Google searches. You'll get there. Look it up. Look it up. But Orange Man bad.
Put in fucking horrible places to be held for.
You get deported, and you get deported, and you get put in cages.
Long periods of time, inhumane conditions. To me, property damage is not violence. It's property.
It's only a natural.
Obama deported 4 million people and no one cared. I know. I'm aware of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Obama is cool.
And I think we need to be, I'm very careful about even calling that violence, but I'm even talking about something that's further than that. If it continues on, it wouldn't be on the offense. It would be on the defense, because...
I'll have that report on your desk by end of day, boss. Thanks. That's how we operate at Third Eye Global. Listen, if you want me to check something out, just leave the memo on my desk, and my secretary will remind me to get to it by the end of the day, after she brings me 9 espressos and high-quality food.
I think that when people are pushed, they're going to fight back.
Yeah.
And I think everyone has the right to do that.
Yeah. What do you think about Trump's National Guard that he's bringing in?
I mean, I think Trump wants to be able to instate martial law.
Respect for her actually staying level-headed and sharing her opinions. A lot of people can't do that.
So I think he actually wants a lot of this because he wants to be able to have martial law, and I think
he wants control over the whole country, every aspect.
And and during martial law, there's no elections held. There's a lot of stuff that would really benefit him.
And then he can do a 3rd and 4th term and so
exactly.
On, yeah.
So I think I think that's also why, I forget the word he was using, but he was calling the protesters in LA insurrection something.
Yeah.
He was using some kind of word.
WTF does Obama have to do with the current situation? Because it's hypocritical that nobody gave a flying fuck when Obama was deporting literally everyone from the country. And now when ICE tries to dismantle human trafficking syndicates and drug lords, people cry about due process, and they're actually doing the process by detaining them so that they can visit their court hearings, which is part of the process, to be determined if they're here legally or not.
And because that is one of the things that needs to be present for martial law to be
It's called comparable situations.
able to be instated. So he's already laying the
When
ground.
is Third Eye Global declaring martial law on soy? Psh, Now.
work
Like,
to
that's
be
his
like
excuse.
exactly like these people are doing this thing that allows me. The laws around it are very vague though.
Totally.
So
And I was like a little bit late to this. Like, who's speaking right now? Is it like?
I actually didn't hear them.
I think he's able to secure this interview because his voice is lib-coded. It's got that vocal fry, that Brooklyn girl energy. Yeah, so like, who's speaking right now?
Introduce themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
My name is Nate. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Can I interview you about your sign?
If Nick Shirley was here, he'd be getting chased out. The Chad Nick Shirley.
I'm a dependent journalist. Can you tell me? So, what does it say?
It says respect my existence or respect my resistance.
Okay.
So either
Yeah, he's a lib chameleon. You see, I wouldn't be able to do this, chat. I mog way too hard. 6'4", size 13 shoe, by the way. Dripped out like a Dark Lord in Balenciaga and Rick Owens because I'm Captain Capitalism, and you will never catch me lacking without drip on. With my soy blockers, what kind of American are you? Psh.
respected in this country alongside with my people, or we're gonna fight back and we're gonna witness.
We have a Hassan Piker agent in chat.
conflict.
Yeah. And how do you guys want to fight back?
I
You actually have Owens. What do you think, bro? What do you think?
believe that we contribute to the economy. We pay taxes. Just because our parents came to cross borders for a better future, I believe that this is the place that we have known as home for years, and we have each and every right to migrate.
Dude, I hate New York City. I hate New York City, dude. I just have such a toxic relationship with it. And people will pontificate about like, no, you didn't even live in the city. Oh. Yeah, maybe because I'm not retarded. I'm not spending $6,000 a month on a shoebox when the cockroaches don't even split rent with me. Okay? Why would I do that to myself? I'll take the train in. I'll drive in.
Just like alongside other people.
Yeah. What do you say to those people that say, like, well, you can migrate, just be here legally? What do you say to those
I
people?
feel like that is very controversial, I want to say, also very unjust and unfair, because if things were so easy, it's actually easier said than done. And if that were the case, I feel like each and every one would be here the right way. Unfortunately, that's not the way things are.
Like, it's too difficult to come here, like...
Exactly.
Like, they
It's not my problem. Skill issue. Appeal to emotions.
need to make the process... They need to make the process easier to come here legally, was what you say?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the meantime, while it is very difficult, you would say that we should get rid of the borders. Like, what would you...
The cognitive dissonance. Immigrants destroyed the lives of Native Americans, but immigrants now will do nothing but good. Stop making sense.
be your solution to what's happening right now?
I would say no borders, no walls.
Oh my god. Yeah, let them pour in. We need more fentanyl in the country.
Stop the deportations, stop separating families, because
That would be great if everyone was morally just and had a high IQ. But no.
I feel that children shouldn't have to witness.
We live in a PvP server.
The fact that they should be allowed back in home and not see their parents there coming back from school.
No borders, yeah. And would you say that for the world or just for the U.S.?
I would say for the world.
For the world?
Yeah.
I almost fucking spit this out. Imagine if your house had no doors or walls. Yeah, they want to live in one giant kumbaya fucking polycule circle and jerk each other off. This is not real life. This is Fantasyland delusional thinking. Where the whole world is just one giant college campus where everyone's going to get along and enrich ourselves with diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely ICE out of New York, ICE out of our communities, and also Free Palestine.
Like, I can't. And Free Palestine.
Why don't these people adopt illegals? You know the answer to that.
I just sneak it in there. No borders in the whole world. That's gonna work. Let's keep going.
I love your vibe. Can you tell me, like, I just want to shut down these claims. So one of them is like, well, what if those like criminals come across the border and they do stuff like...
Dude, he's actually undercover.
They do bad things. Like, do you see that as like as a possibility if you open the borders?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. You caught me off guard with that one.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So, do you mind repeating it again?
Yeah. So like, if we open the borders, then we could have some bad people come across and do bad things, and then that's sort of I hear it from the other side because I interview both sides, and the other side says that if you open the borders, bad people can come in, and that's why we need to have borders. That's what they say.
I feel like that's definitely classifying.
Why is it always the dumbest people alive defending this shit? I appreciate how calm she is. Like, she's there. She believes she's doing the good thing. I can empathize with that. I have sympathy for that. It's just misplaced. It's lofty, vague, and idyllic, but it's not grounded in reality. Because the second you asked a simple question like, yeah, but if we have no walls, then the bad people can come in.
You know, just a group like predominantly on like a specific, I want to say like band. I feel that just like there's good people from, you know, different parts of the world. There's also bad people. And yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
There's plenty more to show you from this protest, but real quick, if you're already shopping on
That was a record time skip right there. Sorry, my hand spazzed out and just... Yeah, I have like this motor neuron activity in my hand. It just...
No? Oh, I just was wondering what it meant.
Well, I wrote you're next because it starts with the people that are illegal, air quotes, and then it goes to everyone else because in a fascist country, there's no one safe.
So they're going to start with people who are here illegally, then they're going to go with people who are here legally, and
They're
then...
going to deport me next, actually. Back to Hyperborea.
Like, you think they're going to go out... Who would they go after that? Everybody?
Everybody,
Like
yeah.
Jews, Christians, everyone?
Exactly. Every other minority
Yeah, she's actually right.
is not safe in this country.
Understood. Thank you.
You hear this a lot. They're going to come for illegal immigrants, then they're going to come for Jews, Christians, and everybody else. I think the part that's missing is that he's been president before and hasn't done that.
All right, Phil, there goes your dick. Get chopping, bro. She said the word. No, it was specific to that first interview, and she didn't say it, so therefore my penis remains intact.
How old was your wife when you met her? Take your diaper off, I can hear you. No question. How old was your wife when you met her? Now can you understand me, you pedophile?
Why did you say he's a pedophile? I'm just pressed.
All you have to do is kids in cages. Your government
Like, how do you
kills
know?
children. That's what the IDF does. They just kids in cages.
It's a pro-Palestinian individual. Asking, how old was your wife? You explicative. When she was a child. How old was Aisha? That's my question.
Everything bad, bro. Not you. It's not you.
Is there a specific incident that they did that? The IDF, like...
She was 6. Aisha was 6 years old.
child or something?
Every day, man.
So when you ask these people like to come up with an example,
Christ didn't do that shit. I gotta pull that up. I gotta pull that up. Hold on.
I regard the Gospels as history. It's a verifiable history. Some people say, oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did. And there are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones that also bear this up, that yes, he did exist. And the other aspect of that is that all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there, every single one of those guys died rather than deny their belief. And nobody dies for a lie. Nobody.
Right.
So that's part of what I'm doing. It's like showing nobody dies for a lie.
Yeah. Well, the resurrection is the one that is the most difficult for people to swallow.
Yes.
That is the one that requires the most faith.
The most faith and the most belief, resurrection.
Yeah.
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't do that.
Right.
Damn. That's true.
They never can. Somehow this protest became about...
Hello, is this the base department? It is now divinely based in here.
Palestine, as it does. This is an anti-ICE protest, and about 80%...
That was Mel Gibson, by the way.
of the flags were Palestinian flags. They were all covering their face with the same keffiyeh, which is universally understood as just a hatred toward Jews. So I saw this guy that was yelling terrorist at the protesters. So I figured he would be an interesting person to talk to. So here's my conversation with him. It actually goes into who's going to be running for mayor in New York City. It's all very interesting, so enjoy.
Well, how are they?
You see what's going on in California? That's terrorist acts right there. They're attacking Jews. That's not right. Anti-Semitism is real here in New York. Yeah. And elected officials are doing nothing. They're actually there. Zoran Mandani is running for mayor.
Is he right here?
Oh my God. Here he is. Let's see him.
I don't know if he is. He'll probably show up.
Yeah.
But he calls for BDS. He supports BDS. That's anti-Semitic. Yeah. His father.
Boycott, divestment, and sanctions. It's a non-violent Palestinian-led movement promoting boycotts, divestments, and economic sanctions against Israel.
His father is calling for the state of Israel to not exist.
His father, Madani's father?
Yes.
Okay.
Mahmoud Mandani, he's a professor in Columbia University.
And are you Jewish?
I am not. I'm Puerto Rican.
So tell me,
I'm an American citizen. I'm a native New Yorker.
Holy shit. Absolute W.
And the Jewish community is part of New York City.
Tell me why you feel passionate about the Jewish community.
They're no different than any other community. But you cannot attack people. You cannot attack them just because they're a certain background. You can't do that. It could be easily Puerto Ricans. It could be easily Jewish. You can't do that. I know plenty of Jewish people. They're fantastic people. It's disgusting.
Bro's just a wholesome chungus.
All this anti-Semitism, they're saying October 7th.
Notice he's saying this with his face and no face mask. So true.
Never happened. There's people that say the Holocaust never happened. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I see you got a Trump hat on.
Yes, we support Trump.
Yeah. So, what do you think that he should be doing in California right now?
What he's doing now, what he's calling in the law enforcement, he's calling the military. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You don't have to fear law enforcement if you don't break the law.
This is the average Spanish man in New York, by the way. I'm so serious.
The only people that don't like NYPD or law enforcement are the lawbreakers. That's it. And if they can't stand NYPD or LAPD, it's because probably they already have felony records. They've probably already been in jail. They've been through the system. They should start making a database. They make a database of these individuals because you may not want to hire them.
Yeah, I see so many Palestinian flags as well, and I thought this was about ICE. Why is it so related? Like, why are those always together?
Because they probably...
I ran 500 mgs of test this morning. So my pump is real.
Weaponizing everything, that's all it is. They're weaponizing it. Immigrants are welcome here. We say legal migration, no discrimination, justice for all. That's what we say.
So
we got immigrants in our family. I'm Puerto Rican. We got immigrants in our family. We got people from the Dominican Republic. We got people from Peru in our family. It's ridiculous to say.
Those nuclear levels are based.
That the city council is full of blacks, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Asians. They weaponize all this stuff. These NGOs.
That's right, including law enforcement.
The Working Family Party.
They brainwashing people of color, and people need to realize that you have to think for yourself. You can't live in a bubble. New York City is not the world. New York City is not America. It's only part of it, you know. And if they could conquer one of the biggest cities in the world, that's disturbing. You know what I mean? And the way these council members, Alexa Vilés,
Bro is fucking spitting. He's sauteing and letting it marinate.
husband, threatened me on camera. These council members are radical left. I mean, they're just radical. They just hate this country. They want, Zoran Mandani wants freeze the rent, free subway, free this. That's all socialism. That's also, socialism doesn't work anywhere. It doesn't work anywhere. It might look pretty in the beginning, but it's not. You're surrendering your rights for money. That's all it is.
Correct. And truth pilled.
Freezing the rent is money. That's all it is. That's not a way to live. A life lived in fear is a life half lived. You don't do that.
These are half my uncles when I visit Florida.
He could get in the face of Tom Homan.
This guy's not even a New Yorker. Bro was born in Uganda.
But when I get in his face, he runs away. Right here, he said he was going to denounce Hamas, Hezbollah, and Sharia law. And he said he was going to do it, and he didn't do it. I stood here.
Because it's impossible to denounce terrorism when you're on the left. You're hit with the soy death ray. You get stun locked like a chum slave. All hail plankton. All hail plankton. This is them. This is me. This is actually me. I'm literally Dennis.
And I listened for him to say it, and he didn't say it. So he's a liar. And that's why we call him a liar. We have proof that he is a liar.
So AOC has endorsed Mamdani, and that's to nobody's surprise, and the race is actually closer than you'd think, especially now. He has about a 30% chance to win, and a few of his policies include
never gonna happen.
City-run grocery stores, freezing the rent, and abolishing ICE. Now, I'll obviously be doing an episode on who—
What the fuck, dude? What the actual fuck? Abolishing ICE from New York City after spending $7 billion in 2 years.
Who New Yorkers are going to be voting for very shortly, so subscribe and turn on notifications for that. But now I want to share with you some of the things that I saw during—
Dude, I would vote for that Puerto Rican man for mayor in a heartbeat.
The protests that I think are really important, but were not interviews. Number one, I saw children at the
New York is cooked. Always been fried.
Protest. That to me is just nuts. I'm not a parent, but this is just not a safe environment. With the way that LA is looking, New York City can be next, and I just thought that was crazy. Number two, the place got so packed so quickly that I watched as the police had to shut down another street totally unscheduled.
Fluoride stare everywhere in the crowd. No, I don't want Zohan. I do not want him, bro.
Seeing the driver's face completely confused was just mind-blowing. Now, I did talk to police officers, and they weren't told about a permit or anything like that for this protest. I even asked the press—
I go to college in the Bible Belt, and every single liberal arts professor that I have is either a proud Marxist or an intersectional feminist. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what propaganda machine got their grips on our education system, but it's diabolical and needs to go away. It was my experience in college too, but I was too busy getting fucking jacked to care beyond the fact that I was building a YouTube empire on the side.
Team at City Hall if they knew about a permits, and they still told me I was talking to the wrong person. So if the press person at City Hall is the wrong person, I don't know who the right one is. So it's very unclear if permits are even obtained for all of these protests. Now, I watched as the surrounding area became absolutely packed with people wearing keffiyehs. They couldn't even get into the main square because it was so packed. Now, that costume, or whatever you want to call it, is a symbol of hate, and it's become the uniform for protesters regardless of the—
Is it?
issue. Now there's the stolen land bit. Every piece of land on earth was taken by someone. I don't know why America is the only one expected to just apologize.
I need to pay reparations right now. Where is the nearest person of color? I will lay down my sword and life for thee.
Forever. And to all these young people who were born in America and have found it very fashionable to hate America, here's what I'll say to you and to what you're protesting. If America was so awful, why are all of these people risking their lives to get here? Why are they fighting deportation?
Because it's goated with the sauce. But there's loopholes, and they're being exploited. If this was a live test video game, it would be patched in real time. And that's what ICE is trying to do. But guess what? They want to abolish ICE.
This hard. If you hate America so much, luckily you live in a country where you are free to buy a plane ticket and leave.
But they never will. Because they want their cake and to eat it too. Because they're high-calorie individuals with no agency.
Now, on your screen is an episode I did with
and they eat seed oil sandwiches. I mean, across the board, what's worse than cooked? Burnt? Scorched? Flambéed? That's it. Everyone's fucking mind is flambéed. Charred.
Ex-migrant shelter director who blew the whistle on all.
You guys know what flambeing is, right? To coat it in sugar and hit it with the fucking blowtorch. Psst, 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 psst. Let's get a nice visual.
Look at that. Oh, get your lighter to it. Hit it with your lighter. There we go.
Yep. All right. That's exactly what these people are. They're flambéed.